Hey man, I want to do an exchange. Oh yeah? What you got for me? I see. I have just the right thing for you. Yeah, nice. Take that. Thanks. Now, I want to introduce to you a whole new level of technology that you've probably heard about, but you've not yet used, and that is using the copper plate. Now, we're going to transform this to this, and then lastly, we're going to transform it to this. So this is our transition from this to this. And it's all PCB, printed circuit board. And the awesome part, there is no machine needed to do this. You can do this right at your home with just basic tools. And I've laid out 5 steps to transforming this particular project to its finished point. But before we get into that, please like this video. It makes YouTube go crazy about us. And then subscribe if you've not already done that. So let's get right into the video. Let's take a look at the tools and every other material needed to get this project done. Alright, so first we have the printout of the circuit wireframe design. This was printed using an A4 paper, and specifically the kind of printer used to print this was a laser jet printer, and it has to be a laser jet printer and not an inkjet. And second item we're having is a copper plate cut out, and this is where the design will be etched. The third one we're seeing is a paint thinner. It's gonna be used to etch the design on the copper plate. And lastly, we have a diluted HCl. It's an acid, but it's been diluted. So once the design has been printed on the copper plate, just toss it into the HCl and the rest will be history. Now, of course, before we start talking about printing a circuit, we have to actually design it with software. And the software I use is the Protus. Now, you can use any PCB design software to achieve any particular design that you want, but I used Protus to design mine. So right now, the circuit that we're having actually on this particular printed circuit board is an oscillator circuit for an inverter. Now, to print it, you'd need an epoxy paper material, A4 size or whatever size that you want, depending on the size of your circuit board. Then you have to print it using a laser jet printer. It has to be a laser jet printer and not an inkjet. So make sure that where you're printing your circuit, it is a laser jet printer. So once you're done printing out the design on the paper, all you need to do is to get the copper material, place the paper on top of the copper surface, just as you would like it to appear. You have to hold it firm and then get some cotton board, and then use a paint thinner or a mineral spirit to slowly but gently and firmly rub on top of the paper material and press it on top of the copper material. while I was etching the print design on the copper plate, I discovered that the design wasn't sticking on the copper plate. And there's a reason for that. You see, when you wipe the surface of a copper plate too often, it becomes too plain for any ink design to stick on it very easily. So fear not that my design wasn't able to appear here, but you will be able to see some of the designs I made previously that were able to stick on.
And once you're done with that, the next step is to toss the copper material into a diluted hydrogen chloride material. And you probably have to leave it for a couple of minutes. So once every part is slowly eaten up, the left out part will only be the part that was printed on. And then you can use the thinner, the paint thinner, to remove off the ink. And once you're done with this, it's time for you to drill and then put your component and solder.
We'll be drilling the PCB board today. We'll be manually drilling it with our hands so that we don't mess up the PCB board. Here we go. Start from this side. Hundred hours of building PCB. 100 hours of building PCB. No, they move. If they remove, just they do am. Like that, my own come be. So if you're like this, my friend, that you started etching out the unwanted part of the copper plate and you still notice that nothing is really moving, just leave it. It may take a couple of minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how much your acid is diluted. And you wouldn't want it to be too concentrated so that it doesn't end up eating up the wanted part of the copper plate. And we're done with drilling the necessary holes for this PCB. So this is the circuit, the oscillator part circuit for the inverter that we're building. Yeah. And very soon we'll be fixing all the components on this surface, on this base. And once we're done, we'll be showing you an update of how it looks. After installing the circuit properly, we will be using the lead and the soldering iron to solder all the components properly and also to maintain a neat work.
And it's just as simple as that. And then one amazing thing is that you could fit in a huge number of components in just a really small compact space instead of using this really large one. Now this makes your work look more professional, makes it look more neat, and you look more like a pro. So tell me what you think about this on the comment section below, and if you tried it out, I'd like to see your work. You can hit me up on Facebook at Smiles Tech. So if you're still here and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.